Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel. Today we got Chelsea news, the late night upload, the early morning upload, whichever way you want to look at this one. We got 5 stories to go through today. We've acquired Strasbourg. Todd Boehly now has another football club. What does this mean to Chelsea? We'll talk about that. Want to address the Mason Mount updates because they kind of could leave Chelsea in a bit of a sticky situation with Caicedo. We said last night, we need to be in a rush with this one. We need to get things done. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case, which is worrying. Azpilicueta and Romelu Lukaku. But we begin with the news that Chelsea have acquired a near 100% stake in Strasbourg in France. Not really Chelsea acquiring, it's more the ownership of invested, bought into this football club. It's great news for Chelsea. What this means is there is now a club in a top league in Europe. Strasbourg are playing in the Ligue 1 in France. We can now send our loan players there. That's the surface of why this is good. As well as that, we can get first pick, probably, with Strasbourg players. They've got a striker, Gambian-born striker in 2004, who Chelsea may well have, not first refusal, but the chances of Strasbourg selling to Chelsea when our owners own their club. You see where we're going with this one. But I think for me, the key thing here is with loan moves. When you've got so many good young players at the club, I could just reel off the top of my head now. Amari Hutchinson desperately needs minutes in a top league. We get him playing at a top level in a top league for one of our clubs. We can bring him straight back. Lewis Hall, Andre Santos, these players who we're not sure if they're going to be ready right now for the Chelsea first team, but we also want to be able to monitor as many of the variables as we can when it comes to what these players do whilst they're out on loan. So Chelsea acquiring this club, Strasbourg, in France, is exciting. The Instagram, the Twitter account for Strasbourg, the English Twitter, absolutely blew up overnight, which is amazing to see. Chelsea fans were behind that. And it's something that we can be positive about. I think a lot of rival fans will criticise, potentially, this multi-club model. The next step for Todd Boehly is reportedly in Portugal to be able to buy Rio Ave, which once again would give Chelsea another way into another emerging market. Portuguese clubs have been known to be able to bring in, at a very young age, great young talent and then sell them on for big money. And in France as well, they were world champions and lost in a World Cup final on penalties. The French country as a whole, when it comes to bringing young players through for the last generation, has been fantastic. So for Chelsea to now have a way in to this market, some people will say, yeah, this is really ruining football. I would say more as a Chelsea fan, sitting here making this video on GBFC, this is brilliant news for Chelsea. We get to send our players there on loan. They're playing in a top league. We get to monitor their development. And I think overall, Chelsea will only benefit from this. It's not like the money that we've spent on acquiring a near 100% stake in Strasbourg is going to be the difference between, well, if we've just spent money on that, then we can't build our own new stadium if we want to, or renovate Stamford Bridge, or we can't bring in that extra player this summer because, sorry, we've just bought another football club. That isn't how this kind of financial deal works. Great news for Chelsea. Not going to talk about it too much more. I think we'll get to see more of what the club has in store with this investment over the course, maybe even this transfer window and future transfer windows as well. Before we go into the next story, Telegram link, top of the description. 2 VIP tickets being given away, and there is now less than a week until the winner is announced. And also, Frank Lampard signed shirt too. And the VIP tickets are for Chelsea-Liverpool, Pochettino's first home game. If you're not in the Telegram, you can't win it. Link at the top of the description. We move to discuss Mason Mount. Now for me, this is a bit of an issue here because Fabrizio Romano has said, understand sources feel Mason Mount deal has to be completed by the end of next week. United will bid again, as said yesterday, but insist for quick resolution, won't keep negotiating for long. 65 million is enough to convince Chelsea. I do think now, 60 million, even low park figure out of those two, 60 million gets Mount to join Manchester United. Chelsea sell for 60 million now. The issue is, Manchester United will know that not only do they want to bring in players this summer, but Chelsea are desperate for midfielders too. Knowing that Mason Mount has agreed personal terms, and that Chelsea will probably sell now that Mount keeps pushing with his team, saying that he's not going to sign a new contract. Will Man United wait this one out? in the hope that in the process of doing so, other clubs can sign Chelsea targets. Now, for Man United, this probably isn't even an option. This is just me hypothesizing here, because United will feel like Arsenal are closer to them competitively than Chelsea. So if they try and stop deals going through for Mount to stop Chelsea maybe buying a Caicedo or a Lavia, Arsenal will just go and sign those players instead. So I don't necessarily think that's going to be what happens, but now that Mount and his camp are pushing for this move to Manchester United, I don't think United are going to be in as much of a rush as what Chelsea will be out loud saying that, okay, you're going to buy this player, cough up the money, let's get it done. We want to be selling players in order, and these not just selling players with verbal agreements, selling players with money coming in before the end of June so that we can go and sign Caicedo. This is the update from Fabrizio Romano. We hadn't heard anything about Caicedo for 5 days, and now we have. Understand, Chelsea is still working on Moises Caicedo deal. Personal terms are almost agreed, which is where we were 5 days ago, 90 to 95% done. And players' priority is still Chelsea as things stand. No official bid to Brighton yet due to Chelsea busy with many sales between Havertz, Kovacic and Saudi deals. A lot of this will be Chelsea will absolutely want to try and get the sales of Havertz, Kovacic, all of these deals to Saudi Arabia. We need to get this done by the end of June to be in the same time zone for FFP. So Chelsea will be working on all of this. And when we say it's an exodus, it's massive. For Chelsea to be selling 6 first-team players, big high wage earners at the club, this isn't like little bits of business that we can just give to the assistant to do. You can't just be like, look, here's a notepad, mate. I've stuck a couple of figures on there. Can you make sure you get that for Havertz, please? These are big value deals. And Chelsea will want these to be going through to ensure when we make an absolute gigantic bid to Brighton, which is what it's going to take to get Caicedo to Chelsea. We need to make sure all of these other deals are done, not just because of time spent in office, but also financially too. Brighton, the longer they see Chelsea losing all these players, they'll look at the midfield and they'll see Enzo Fernandez and Conor Gallagher and maybe Ruben Loftus-Cheek, but he's still wanted potentially by AC Milan as well. Brighton are not going to allow Chelsea to get Caicedo for cheap. Which is also why, when I'm happy that I hear that Caicedo still wants Chelsea, if Arsenal don't get Declan Rice, then I think we still get Caicedo. I think if the player had the choice, being second choice behind Declan Rice at Arsenal, or being the man that Chelsea have wanted all summer long, I think Moises Caicedo joins Chelsea over Arsenal. I really hope this is the way it goes. We said it in last night's video. If you want to check out yesterday's video, link in the description. Also, we said there, Chelsea need to act fast, and they do. We don't want to allow it to become a point where Declan Rice goes to City because City don't waste any time. They get that bid into West Ham, which apparently they already have. Declan Rice could end up joining City this week. Chelsea are waiting until next week to be able to buy players in the next FFP financial bracket, and we're trying to secure loads of incoming deals to soften the 600 and whatever it is million blow from the last 2 windows. So in the process of doing this, it could go wrong. It really could. But at the same time, I'm confident that Caicedo wants Chelsea. I'm only confident because of sources. You know, like I don't actually have any contact with the player. I don't have any Ecuadorian links to any of his mates. But at the same time, I think Chelsea get this one done. I think if Caicedo wants the Chelsea move, personal terms are nearly agreed. Even if Arsenal enter the race, I don't think Chelsea will be more stupid to let it go. I think if we want to wait, because at the moment teams aren't pushing with bids for Caicedo, Brighton's still waiting, then I think we're willing to wait until it happens. And if we're in a bidding war, we're in a bidding war. And I think Chelsea beat Arsenal in a bidding war, if I'm very honest with you. Moving in to Cesar Azpilicueta. Azpi, last season, we saw that he can't do it at the highest level anymore. With all due respect, what a servant he's been for the club. But at the same time, Inter Milan want Azpilicueta. But Inter Milan, right? They're a special club, this lot. Champions League final, I get it. It's easy for me as a fan of an English club, Chelsea, with loads of money. It's easy for me to say, well, come on, cough up and spend it. They don't even want to pay for Azpilicueta. They don't even want to offer a couple of million. They want a loan. This does not benefit Chelsea whatsoever. They know that Azpi is not part of the future plans. Pochettino is not going to use him. So I think the best story for everybody is if Azpilicueta leaves. There is talk that maybe he goes to Inter Miami. There's talk maybe, I don't know, maybe a Saudi club come in for him. He doesn't want that. He wants to stay in Europe. But Inter Milan offering a loan. Or they want him to be a free agent. I'd love a load of things for free, mate, to be honest. I'd even like this snack that I spent £2.50 on. I would prefer it if it was free. I understand, though, that I've got to go in the shop and I've got to buy it. We can't be giving out freebies to Inter Milan, a team that get to a Champions League final last week. No, I'm sorry. I'm not all for this. Romelu Lukaku, AC Milan reportedly want him. What an amazing twist this would be in Romelu Lukaku's dream to stay at Inter Milan if he signs for AC Milan. This guy, man, honestly, I don't even want to waste any more of your time. It's the middle of the night. Romelu Lukaku, let's just get rid of him. I'd take 30 million euros for him. Chelsea want 40 million potentially. Massive loss on the player, but this guy is just an energy demon, unfortunately. And if you look at all of the chaos caused by Lukaku, you could argue that maybe Mount wouldn't even be in a position where he's not signed a Chelsea deal if all of the chaos that ensued from Romelu Lukaku's interview didn't happen. Yes, I'm dragging it that far back. I will make any excuse to get this guy out of Chelsea Football Club. I don't care how far you want to go back. I don't. I just don't like the guy. I don't think his attitude is right. Scores 2 goals against Estonia in a pointless game for Belgium. Great, lovely, brilliant. Enjoy him. Someone, take him off our hands. But anyway, wrapping this video up for you guys here. Another news video will be out later on Friday. Come on, you Blues.